So, hello, welcome. And today
Hey,
I'm here
Mark.
with Valerie, who is a grief worker. Nice to see you, Valerie.
Thank you. Nice to see you too, Mark.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do it.
So, I work with people um, to help with grief, and my whole intention is for people to take grief no matter whether it's new or whether it's old. Like sometimes people have grief hang on for years and years. So, I like to turn grief into good grief so that all of those feelings that are not helping us to get rid of them and just keep all the good stuff. Because grief is one thing that we never ever get rid of, and we're not getting out of this world without experiencing it.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
quite interesting that you turn it into a different sort of process.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what sort of tools do you use to do that?
I use, like, I developed a protocol, which, um, I get to say that you got to experience
Yeah,
so that you know what it is. And it's called the Phoenix Rising Way. And the purpose of it is to help people. And so it's like kind of like a guided meditation or I call it a guided journey. So when I work with people, I use all kinds of different methods. Like I've done lots of training in cognitive behavioral therapy and skill worker and counseling and whatever. And so I use bits of that to help me with getting people finding out what their story is and how things are going and where they want to go, what results they want. And the culmination of working with them will be with this guided journey with my Phoenix Rising Way.
that sounds good. Good.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this?
Into which,
Into helping people?
oh, it's just something that I've always done all my life. I always, even when I was a kid, the other kids would come to me with stuff. And I just always interested helping people for things to be
Yeah.
better. And then the I started getting into self-help stuff in my young 20s or maybe even earlier. Anyways, and then as life went on and I experienced different things and started learning different things, then different things about myself or things that people go through, or and realize that people were always constantly coming to me. I would get strangers started coming to me in the grocery store, out having a drink in a pub or something,
Yeah.
and people telling you their stories. And then eventually I started, when I learned about hypnosis, I absolutely fell in love with it because it is the icing on the cake, right? It's because if we could fix ourselves
Hmm.
consciously, we would all do it, wouldn't we? So there has to be something underlying that needs to be taken care of. And we're all full of our environment. We have our beliefs that we've grown up with that may or may not be serving us. Our environment always has an effect on us. And so, yeah, and the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. And now, as you know, in neuroscience, and there's just so much available to us. It's awesome. It's just wonderful.
Good, good. And yeah, that's definitely part of the hypnosis or the
Mhm.
therapist sort of feel is that there's always something to new. There's to know,
Yeah.
to learn. Things
Yeah.
are always evolving, and we seem to be doing things faster and quicker than we used to.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I love about hypnosis is instead of you having to go into talk therapy for years, you hypnosis will help you get over things so much faster.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
especially today with every crazy thing that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
It
Isn't that the
kind of
truth?
Especially self-hypnosis, I think is one of the best way to
Yeah.
manage your own states, and it works really nicely.
Yes. Yes.
So
And you probably teach everybody, I do as well, any clients to do self-hypnosis to help them. Yeah.
I think it's one of the best things we can teach before we part ways, and people get a lot out of it. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if you could go back long
Mhm.
before you were a therapist or a grief worker, what would be one bit of advice you could give your earlier self as to navigating life and doing the best that you can?
I would tell myself that's an interesting question. What would I tell myself? And to not to wait, to delve into when you know that there's problems, delve into it. There's so much knowledge available now. Do some research and delve into it and deal with it, because the longer we let things fester inside of us, I mean, it affects us not just mentally, but we are all affected in our bodies, like physically.
Yeah,
And there's so many problems that can happen because of us keeping emotional problems inside that affect us physically as well as mentally. And then you
yeah,
don't deal with things if you have no tools, how do you deal with things like anxiety or all the different ways that we can be affected, right?
definitely, definitely. I mean, it's something we've
Yeah.
seen in that, especially with males in the UK, that don't go seeking any help and they're not speaking to the friends, where women do seem to go out and seek help and talk to the friends. And then
Yes. Yeah.
typically, when the men do sort of realize they've got a problem, it takes a lot more work than if they'd done something at the beginning.
Yes. Yes. I was just working with a fella not long ago who his girlfriend had left him. They had traveled together and everything, and they had all these plans. And then out of the blue, she left him, and he wasn't dealing with it well at all. I had him referred to me, and he was open to doing this work because he was grieving that loss, right?
Mm.
And it helped him. Like he couldn't believe how much it helped him. And he sent a message the next day and just said how much better he felt and freer and lighter. And yeah, right. I mean, and if men are so always keeping everything in, and men's brains work completely different than women's do. And I mean, that's science, that's proven. So there's it, if you don't want to talk to your friends, go see somebody that can help you, right? It's not
Mm.
weakness, it's a strength to
Yeah.
go and get somebody to help you.
Yeah, that's an interesting attitude. We work with a lot of business people, and they always feel that they're kind of the leader.
Yeah,
But I always say a sign of a successful person is when they need help or they don't know something, they'll go out and find out how to do it or find somebody who can help them.
yeah,
And that's a bit of a
yeah,
turnaround when I explain that to people.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a really good example for people around you too, whether it's people you work with or your children or your siblings or whoever. Like it's a really good, it shows strength
Mm.
and, and authenticity, right? You can be your authentic self instead of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, I do see that becoming a little bit more fashionable now, that vulnerability. People seem to be waking up to doing that a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not stigmatized like it used to be.
Yeah, yeah. So if somebody's going through the grief process, what should be the first thing they should consider doing?
Not stuffing it down. That's the number one thing.
Mm.
Or when people, like everybody has different beliefs about it, right?
Mm.
Everybody in grief processes it differently. The worst thing you can do though is stuff it down.
Mm.
And like, I mean, I wouldn't even, my mother was terrible about death. And at a young age, I never cried. I never
Mhm.
cried over anything. And it's not good for you. It's not healthy. It doesn't help. And so don't stuff it down, allow it. And if people tell you, oh, just let it go, just say, okay, thanks, and just get on with what you need to do for your grief because everybody processes it differently.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different length of time because we're all individuals, and some
Mhm.
people can accept death or loss or like all the different ways that we can experience grief. I mean, losing a job or being forced to retire or divorces, betrayal. Like there's just so many ways to experience grief,
Mm.
and everybody will process it differently and will process it in different lengths of time. So, and of course, come and see me.
Well, I think that's a given. It is
Yeah,
interesting that we see people in our industry who do bottle it up, and then eventually, when they go
yeah,
and see somebody, they think they're broken. They think there's something wrong, and
mhm,
it's not. We all need that little bit of help at some point,
yeah,
and especially with grief, because if it's the first time you experience it, you really don't know what's coming or what's the way to
mhm,
go with it. And as you mentioned, everybody's got different ideas. I remember years ago, I met a lady, I knew her, but I met her a week after her husband had dropped dead. And she was joyous, she was happy. And this kind of confused me. But when she saw the look on my face, she says, look, I realize he's gone. I'm not going to sit about moping about it forever. He'd want me to get on with my life. So I'm going to be happy and do the best I can through the process. And that
yeah.
works so well for her. But other
Yeah,
people,
because if somebody is like, if her husband was sick for a long time and they knew that it was coming, quite often people, all their grief has already been processed by
mm,
the time the end comes. There's just, yes, so many different ways people can look at it.
they do, and actually that's quite interesting. A friend recently has lost a parent, and when that had happened, after quite a few months of sort of sickness and everything, he was really happy because he kind of said, at least he's not suffering anymore.
Yeah.
And I've done that
Yeah.
grieving process, so it's interesting that there's so many variables to it.
Yes.
Do you think in the Western society we don't handle grief the right way?
I It is quite often not handled in a very good way. It all depends on different families, right? Different environments, and whether or not there's other cultural influences or hereditary ancestral influences. So, yeah, there's lots of times. And like one of my pet projects is pet loss, right? Because people have pet grief and it can be really, really hard to deal with. I was just talking to a fella the other day who was telling me about his cat that he lost, and he was so devastated, like he was really close to it. This was a few years ago. And some family members and friends said to him, well, just get another cat. Well, that's not the point. He did eventually get another cat.
Mm.
However, those pets are our children, and
Mm.
I'm dealing with anticipated loss right now. I have a 14 and a half year old Roddy who I don't know if she's going to make it to 15, right? And then I don't know whether she's going to go on her own or am I going to have to make the choice. And that
Yes.
euthanasia for me is a really hard decision. And just thinking about it makes me feel kind of choked. Um, like it, so yeah. And if somebody can, and I have another dog who's 14 and she's 14. And so I don't know how long she's going to be with me either, right? And if somebody comes to me and says, well, just get another dog, it's not the same.
I think there's a very different bond there with pets to humans, and
It
I
is.
do hear those comments that just get another dog, but actually, I've met some people who really struggle to grieve over pets because I think there's a deeper bond in some way or a different bond.
Ah, it is. It's like I've had pets all my life.
Mm.
And I mean, I've had when we were kids, rescuing birds or whatever, like all kinds of other
Mm,
pets besides a cat and dog, but we always had a cat and dog. And everyone that I've lost in different ways.
mm,
And I had my first Rottweiler it was a traumatic loss. She was killed and it was very traumatic. It took me 2 years to get another dog after that.
mm,
And then when I got her, I was so heartbroken when I lost her that I ended up, that was, and I had to make that euthanasia choice for her.
mhm,
And that was in the middle of November. And in February, I started looking for another Rottweiler because I so missed her so badly.
mm,
And then I thought, I'm going to get a pup this time because I've always adopted because there's so many
mm.
animals out there that need new homes. And so then I decided I'd give my heart a break and I got this one and I ended up with her at 6 weeks because her mother died.
Oh no.
And yeah, so like there's always, and her mother was so beautiful. And so there's always so like every loss has a different connotation to it. And
Mm,
so, and then when I got her, I had to keep reminding myself, this is not Kara.
mm,
This one is named Kira. And I had to remind myself, right? And Kira is a completely different personality than the other one. And the same and my Arius, she's a lab shepherd Saint Bernard mix, like a
mm.
completely different type of dog. And so it's a whole different relationship I have with her too, just like we do with our kids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and they're our children, our four-legged children. That's what I say.
Definitely, definitely. So as you work with people who are going through grief and you see them improve, how does that feel to you?
Oh my God, it just feels so good. It's just, um, like I had a gentleman who'd lost his German Shepherd last fall. And so I did my pet grief protocol with him. And he's so like people's faces. I just see such a change, right? And I checked in with them and he said, it's just so beautiful. He said, I can remember her and it doesn't choke me up and I just feel so good. And like every time it's just, it's just lifts you up to see them lifted up and you're just so happy.
Yeah.
And I was working with a lady who had been involved with grief groups and the grief that she was going through. She could never talk about it. She would just get so choked up and start crying every time in the group. And then when she worked with me, now she's just, again, I checked in with her and she's just like, she's so happy. She's just, so it makes you so happy, right? Like, Mark, with your work, it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
it was funny. I was driving to the clinic the other day, and I was just thinking how grateful I am to do this. I've had various businesses over the years, and it's
yeah,
just to go in and connect with somebody, and then to give them tools to get over the problems that they're stuck with,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then to see them do so much better in life. And I just think this is amazing that I'm doing this.
yeah,
It's a real privilege, and it just you
it
can't.
is.
You can't explain the satisfaction that I get out of doing this sort of
Yeah,
work
yeah.
and to spend
It's
time
the
with a lot of
gratitude.
other lovely therapists who are, we've got a bit of a crazy world at the moment, but the
Yeah,
therapy community
yes,
is such a nice bunch of people. Um,
yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah, it's just love to do that.
yeah. And you can help them in such a short amount of time.
Oh, yes.
Like it's right. It can be days, weeks, or months instead of years,
Well, it's
depending. Yeah.
interestingly, I've just finished working with a lady and she'd been going through therapy for 20 odd years.
Oh, I can't
Nothing, it's
imagine.
the old-fashioned traditional type of stuff just really wasn't helping. And in
No.
sort of 4 short weeks, she'd eliminate the problem.
Yeah.
And it's just, why didn't I know? Why isn't this on the UK NHS? But this modern
Yeah.
stuff seems to work really well. But to be honest, it's not really that modern, although we're learning lots of new
No, it
things.
isn't.
It
It's been around for so long.
Hypnosis has been for ages, but it's quite
Yeah.
interesting. So, what would you say is a really good tip for people generally to improve their mental health?
So that's a very good question. One of the things that's really, really good to do is self-awareness and to breathe and exercise. Get out. If you aren't exercising, getting some kind of movement, whether it's simple as going out walking or running or dancing or drumming, like music, anything,
Mm,
like anything that gives you movement to help move whatever is wrong, whether it's
mm.
anxiety, grief, depression, anything. It's been proven that movement is one of the top things that you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then eating well, of course, is the other thing that they always recommend because when you put good stuff in your body, you give your body nutrients, and that
Yeah.
helps with your brain and your body, with your
Mm.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, food's such a big thing. I'm very passionate about nutrition, but it is
Right.
interesting to see people who have mental health issues, and it's just they're not putting decent food in there.
Yeah.
And it's how's the
I've
body?
seen people like how they turn around just from getting some exercise
Mm.
and then changing their diet. And like diabetes, they've shown diabetes with diet and exercise, diabetes 2, they can completely clear it up.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing what our bodies are capable of when we help them and do something for them. It's just amazing. Our minds are so strong. What we're
Mm.
capable of is just beyond what people think.
I totally agree. It's the
Um,
brain is so powerful we can overcome most
yeah,
things, but we need to look after both the mind and the body.
yeah,
And
yes.
we quite often don't do that. And there's a lot of negativity and stress about at the moment, so we need to be proactive. And that's why we need more people like you out there.
And you. And it's so important to not get stuck in all that past stuff and
Mm,
asking the whys. It's more important to move forward. What or how can I make things better? What can I do to make things better? How can I do it?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, this has been really
Yeah.
interesting. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
It has.
If people wanted to contact you or work with you or learn more, where can they do that?
They can go to my website, hypnosisintegrated, all one word.com. And I have a QR code on there if they want to DM me directly. I've just started a new YouTube channel and it's hypnosis integrated as well. And yeah, they're the easiest ways to,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Valerie.
Thanks, Mark.
Brilliant. Great. And thank you, everybody,
Thanks
for
for
watching.
asking that. Yes, thank you so much. And I hope people can get something from this to help them.
Um, Brilliant. And we'll see you all again soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Bye now.
Bye.